Alright, you're going on a Princess cruise. Maybe this is your first time cruising, maybe you've cruised before but not with Princess, or perhaps you just love videos about cruising. What do I wear? What do I need to take with me? How do I make sure I get the most for my money? We're going to go over everything you need to know to prepare for your cruise and give you some helpful tips for embarkation day. After more than a dozen cruises with Princess, I've learned a few things about how to make the most of my vacation, and I want to share those with you. Make sure you watch all the way to the end for the biggest tip of all. First on our list is to get set up on the Princess website, create a profile, and get their app downloaded onto your phone as soon as you book the cruise. The app is where you're going to be doing your online check-in, and the website is great for customizing your cruise with shore excursions and more. The more time you take to get familiar with the app ahead of boarding the cruise, the better off you'll be. Checking in online may also assign you a boarding time. This is your window to arrive at the port, get on board with a minimal wait. The app will also allow you to explore your dining options, make reservations, see daily schedule, and most importantly, order from Ocean Now. Next, let's talk about your carry-on bag. Don't forget to pack your bathing suit and other essentials like medication, phone charger, and important documents. You want to make sure you have your passport and proof of online check-in on hand when you arrive at the terminal. Helpful porters will be waiting to take your luggage at the curb. It'll be delivered to your stateroom within a couple of hours. Don't forget to tip. Don't make the mistake of carrying your luggage on board with you. Often your stateroom won't be ready as soon as you board, so you'll be wheeling luggage all over the ship. This is a tough one for some more than others. Don't overpack. Officially, Princess doesn't have a real limit on the amount of baggage you bring with you. Obviously, if you're flying, there are limits. Staterooms are smaller than standard hotel rooms and have limited storage in most cases. More stuff equals more cramped. Princess ships generally have self-service laundry at a reasonable price, and you can send dress clothes out for cleaning. You also have to store your suitcases either in closets or under the bed, so the less baggage, the easier it is. What do you need to bring with you? Well, it's really up to you, but let's talk essentials. Princess is considered to be a premium cruise line and leans more towards traditional cruising than some, and still has 2 formal nights on a 7-day cruise. Formal these days is a bit of a loose term because you're going to see a wide variety of dress that people consider formal. Yes, there will be people in tuxedos and ball gowns, but the majority are going to be in formal dresses, suits, and sport coats. It will also depend on where you're sailing. Sailings in Europe, particularly from Southampton, tend to be more formal than Caribbean or Alaska. Embrace it, dress up, and have fun. If you don't feel like dressing up, there are alternative dining options you can explore as well. Besides our finest clothing, we need to make sure we have some kind of a day pack, extra cash for tips, an umbrella, an extra long USB charging cord for our phones, magnetic hooks for the stateroom walls. Yes, they are metal. And of course, we bring plenty of medications, both prescription and over-the-counter, to make sure we're covered for all needs. What to pack sounds like its own separate video, doesn't it? Here's a little tip to get your day started out right. Once you board, you'll find that the elevators near the gangway are going to be very busy. If you've done your research ahead of time, there may be an easy alternate route to other elevators that aren't packed like sardines. 9 times out of 10, this works for us. We're usually able to get to the forward elevators and get up to a higher deck. Even if it's at the opposite end of the ship, it can really save you some aggravation. Next on our list is everyone's favorite cruise activity, eating at the buffet. Stop yourself. Whatever you do, don't rush to the buffet when you first board the ship. The busiest you're going to see that buffet is embarkation day, especially if you get on board early. Instead, one of the dining rooms will be open for a nice relaxed lunch. If the dining room doesn't suit you, the ship may have other quick service locations or specialty restaurants available to you, depending on your package. This is a great time to check them out. Research. Before you book your cruise, do a little research on the ports the ship will visit. What attractions are nearby and what are the must-sees? After you book your cruise, it's really time to research those ports. Do it early and make some notes for yourself. Find out where the ship docks. It's not often in the center of town. How do you get to the sites you want to see? Is there a shuttle or organized tour? Take the time that you have in port and make a reasonable schedule for yourself. You won't see it all in one day, so concentrate on what's important and make sure you leave yourself plenty of time to get back on board. If you have questions about the port, be sure to stop by the Shore Excursions desk, attend a port seminar, or look on your stateroom TV. They often have a profile of each port you're visiting available to you on embarkation day. That leads us into our next tip. After you've researched the port, you know what you want to do. it's time to figure out how you're going to do it. Princess will offer a number of shore excursions, and while I find Princess's prices more reasonable than most cruise lines, they still are overpriced. They have the advantage of a guarantee that the ship will wait for you to return provided you stick with your tour. Meeting a ship's tour is also generally seamless, either meeting in a public space on board and being walked out to transportation or meeting on shore. There are a number of very good independent tour companies who curate the best local tour companies in a port and will arrange everything for you. The best companies will offer a return-to-ship guarantee, and the cost is generally lower. Independent arrangements may also have a lower number of guests participating and may take you to places that won't accommodate larger tour groups. Finally, in many ports you'll find taxi drivers or unauthorized tour guides vying for your business. You run the risk of missing the ship if something breaks down, and personal security should be taken into account. For me personally, I've had several good taxi tours over the years, but it's not my first choice. You won't want to miss the final 2 tips. Keep watching to the end because not listening to these will cost you big money. Remember when we said research? Here is another spot where we put this into action. We actually have a few tips here. If you are booking your nightly dining, be careful of the time you book or you might find yourself waiting in line. Princess is now all flexible dining, so you'll want to book your time in advance. However, you'll want to choose an early time between 5:15 and 5:45 or wait until after 7:15 p.m. Do not pick anything between 5:45 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. or you will wait in line to be seated, even with a reservation, and the wait could be significant. This is because the dining room needs to have 2 seatings of each table each night. If they hold a table for you for your 6 p.m. reservation, they're only going to be able to get 1 seating out of that table. If you have booked a standing reservation for the duration of your trip, it's possible to get the same table each night by talking to the dining room management, only if you followed our first tip though. If you aren't staying in a suite or reserve collection mini suite, avoid booking your reservation in the restaurant that has tables reserved for these guests. If there are specialty dining reservations such as the chef's table or winemaker's dinner that you must book when you get on board, it's now the time to do it. They will keep a list of guests interested in these events, and you want your name at the top of the list. Do this as soon as you get on board. You can also try to book Sabatini's, Crown Grill, or other venues when you board, but these are best to do in advance on the app. You should make reservations a priority and get on the phone to the Dine Reservations line, visit a restaurant, or do it through the app if available. If you wait, you will be disappointed. Cell phone providers have an at-sea service on board many ships, but the cost can be astronomical. It's not related to the internet service that the ship provides. The cruise line also doesn't have any control over this service, so if you end up with a huge bill, that's between you and your carrier. The best practice is to put your phone into airplane mode when you get on board and leave it there. This one is a no-brainer. Use a travel agent instead of trying to do everything yourself. An agent who has experience with Princess can help you in many aspects of selecting the itinerary and making sure it's right for you. Agents with larger organizations also have access to specials and group pricing that aren't advertised to the general public. Princess's price won't be lower than what a travel agent can offer. They don't compete with each other. While you are on board the ship, consider booking a future cruise or future cruise credit. They often have bonus offers and onboard credits attached. Your onboard booking will be transferred to your agent to arrange those fine details. The next tip is to be sure to have travel insurance. Don't just assume that your credit card or personal health insurance coverage will cover you while out of the country. Contact the carrier and make sure all the details are correct and that everyone in your party is covered. At a minimum, you need emergency medical insurance, but may want to consider trip cancellation and interruption insurance just in case you have to cancel at the last moment or leave the trip early. This will help you get at least some of your non-refundable money back. Many carriers also offer a deluxe or complete packages that include luggage coverage and flight accident insurance as well as the medical. Often these packages need to be purchased immediately after you book your cruise. You'll need to assess what your loss tolerance is if something goes sideways. A travel agent can really help with this. Generally speaking, you should strongly consider adding the Princess Plus package to your cruise. We've done all the math for you in our Princess Plus and Premier video already. You'll find the link above and at the end of this video. Starting at $60 per day for the first and second passengers, It includes your drinks package, Wi-Fi, and your daily gratuity for your stateroom attendant and servers. It's an offer that can't be beat and is a major reason to choose Princess over other cruise lines. We just hope that Princess keeps this package as is and doesn't mess around with it too much anymore. Pricing and features are correct at the time of this filming, so they could change. Check out the video for all the math. There is a lot going on during the cruise, and you'll want to keep up to date on the latest using the Princess app as well as the daily schedule delivered each night to your stateroom. We hope that they continue delivering this to the stateroom. It's much easier to have a quick scan of that than the app, but we really wish they'd rename it back to the Princess Patter. Princess doesn't require advanced reservations for many events, but there are some that are capacity controlled, so watch out for sign-up events early in the cruise. Okay, we're down to our final 2 tips, and these are the most important of all. This is a great time to hit the like button, press subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get alerted when we post more news, reviews, tips, and tricks from the cruising world. We've all seen the Pier Runner videos. Do not be that person. The ship has no obligation to wait for you, and the expense of getting to the next port or to the end port is entirely yours if you miss the ship. Most ships adjust their time as you sail to match the ports that you're going to be in, but some don't. When they don't adjust, this causes confusion for some passenger between ship's time and shore time, or the time shown on your cell phone. The ship will leave at the appointed departure time according to ship's time. You need to plan your day properly when arranging tours or setting out on a local tour. If you're going to use the ship's shore excursions, you're guaranteed to be back in the port to meet the ship. Independent tours can't do this, although most reputable ones will have a guarantee to make sure you get to the next port if you miss the ship due to their mistake. Finally, watch your alcohol intake while on shore. Especially in the Caribbean ports, it's easy to sit down and drink far too much in the warm sunshine and completely lose track of time. If you're traveling with young adults who normally wouldn't be able to drink at home, keep a close eye on this, or you may be sailing without them. This last one is a simple one. It's the most important tip on this list, and I guarantee you'll only make this mistake once. If you're flying to the port, don't fly on the day of your cruise. Delays, weather, missed connections, canceled flights, it just leads to travel anxiety, and who needs that? No thanks. Fly at least a day early, splash out a few bucks for a hotel. After all, you spent thousands on your trip just to save money on a hotel? Why risk it, even if you did buy your air through Princess's Easy Air service? There you go. That's our best tips for first-time and new Princess cruisers. This was just the tip of the iceberg. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. Check out our other tips and tricks videos too, and leave us a comment below if you have any tips you'd like to share. Thanks for watching.